welcome to Mr. Otter Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to draw an eye from the front and from the side. So we're going to be drawing an eye from the front over here and an eye from the side over there. You can draw two squares if you want to keep them inside of. It's kind of up to you. I'm going to just draw two squares just to keep track of kind of where my drawings need to be. And these are not probably going to be squares because they're maybe more rectangles, just two spaces basically that you can draw the eyes inside of. In the middle, my paper. Should be doing like one right here. And then one right here. Okay. So we have our two boxes. And again, you don't need to do it like this. The supplies that you need for today's tutorial, I keep forgetting to write that, are a pencil and an eraser and paper. You can do this in pen if you want. You just have to use a different way of shading, like hatching or something like that. You could totally use a crayola washable marker. They're really awesome to do this with. It's really quick to put the shadows in if you want to use like a paintbrush and paint it around. All right, so I'm going to grab my pencil now. Let's go ahead and draw these eyes. So this one is going to be the eye that's looking forward, and this one is the eye from the side. So I'm just going to put the front here and then the side here. And one thing that's important to remember about an eyeball is that it's a ball. So it is round. A lot of times we try to draw the eye and it looks like it's a flat thing, but our eye is round. The ball is round underneath, and so the eyelid needs to kind of bend and curve around that shape. It's really important. That's what kind of makes the eye look like an eye. So we're going to start, and we're going to draw this really lightly because I actually want you to draw the eyeball. So we're going to start with the ball, and I should have put it more in the middle of my paper. That's okay. So here's the eyeball, this nice big round thing. And then we have our eyelids, which kind of curve around the eyeball. So let's just go ahead and start here in the bottom corner. And maybe it depends on how this person's looking and where they are looking, and where, you know, like there's the inside of the eye, right? So you can draw another circle and then another circle inside, which would be like the pupil. So right here is the pupil. And then let's go ahead and draw this eye over the top. So the eyelid is what we're drawing right now. So we have a line that's coming up and it's bending over that eyeball. And everybody's eyes are different, but this eye is just kind of, we're just making up kind of as we go. And it can cross over the front of this. Sometimes we can't see that whole shape. In fact, most of the time we can't see that whole shape. It just depends on the person. Okay, so we've kind of drawn this opening. And remember, this is like an orange peel, right? It's not like this opening right here, think of it as an orange peel. It's thick, it has thickness here. So we're going to draw that thickness in. And I'm going to put it so like we can see like almost like a shelf, right? Like right here. And it could be below there, it depends. We're not looking at an actual eye, so it's kind of hard to say where that would be. And then there's a thickness. Sorry, I keep hitting into the camera with my hat because the lights are just like totally in my eye. Okay, so I'm just going to add a thickness here, and I'm exaggerating it just a little bit, just so you can see it a little bit better, and then we can't really see it in here. And this might be a little bit more curved. There's this middle kind of connecting part right here, where like your tears come out of. And then we have this fold because there's a ball under this, but there's also fullness kind of in the skin, and there's a bone right there, right? So there's like this bone above it. And so let's draw in just this crease. Let's see. Above it. And this would be like the top of the eyelid, and it could be a little bit bigger than that. And then usually we can see a little bit of this bottom crease right here, because this is coming out right here, if that makes sense. So we've drawn this much. Let's go ahead and add in a few more different shapes, and then we will use some shading to make this look like a real eye. That's, I think, the key and the trick with drawing realistically is shading. And this person has just some bigger eyebrows. They come up, over, and back. Over and down. This is just an eyebrow shape. And now that we've got these shapes in, I think we're probably ready to start putting in some shadows. So the middle part of, and also I think when you start out drawing like this, you kind of need to figure out like where you want the highlight to be. The highlight could be anywhere. It could be inside of this, the pupil. It could be somewhere up in here. But wherever you're going to put it, I really like to just draw it in so I don't miss it. So I'm just going to put it in right there. And I'm going to outline the pupil and outline this part of the iris just so we can see it a little bit better. You might want to thicken up some of your lines. When I say thicken up, darken is what I really mean. Also, really quick while we're doing this, some people like will draw eyelashes and it's like they put them coming right out from the eyeball, like right there. But your eyelashes actually come from about this area right here. This is where they're growing, because this is like this little shelf, if that makes sense. Also, because it's round and because we have this lid, we need to remember that when we're shading it. So let's start shading. This is one of the darkest parts. And then the iris around it, it depends on the eye. Sometimes it's a little bit darker around the edges and a little bit lighter on the inside. You might, when you shade the inside of the eye, you might want to just like shade in that direction, like of that, that radial direction. So see, I'm just kind of like coming around, missing that spot. You can always erase it later, but it's nice to just have it. I drew it in there probably a little bit too dark, but that's okay. It'll work. And now let's go ahead and add the shading that would be underneath this. So in this area right here, because the light is coming from the top. And let's add some shading on this white part of the eyeball. So it's kind of tucked in here, so it's a little bit darker. And then there's definitely going to be a shadow on the top. Because remember, this is a ball that's coming out. Let me zoom in a little bit. I don't know why I have it so far away. There we go. So kind of in these corners, we're adding some shading to show that they're tucked in. And then underneath the eyelid, we're also adding shading, and we need to make it just a little bit darker on the iris here. And then underneath, this part is usually shaded. This is pretty light, so I'm just barely pressing with my pencil. Kind of pulling away as it moves away. And then in here, there usually is a pretty big shadow. You can erase the round part of the eye if you want. Might make it a little bit more helpful when you're shading to erase that circle. It really was just to show you how the eyeball's round. And different eyes, you know, will have different kind of shading in different spots, and it totally depends on where the light is, but we're just gonna say that it's coming from the top in this one. And this is usually kind of a darker color than the eyeball. Notice I'm like not drawing individual hairs on the eyebrows. I'm just shading in like the shape. There's usually some kind of shadow in here because it kind of tucks in. And then this part of the eyelid it's still in the shadows. So now that we've added some shading in there, we need to darken up some of our lines. So we don't lose them. I'm gonna just darken up these eyebrows just a little bit more. They seem a little bit close to the eyeball. That's okay. All right, now we need to really make this look like it's round. So I'm adding more shading to these side corners, then coming in and just making sure there is a shadow under here. And then if you wanted to kind of indicate that there are some eyelashes and things like that, you could, you just, let's see, to just indicate where those are, basically all you're going to do, and I feel like we still need to add some more shading. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. That's my hat. Like compared to the eye, we probably need a little bit of a bigger eyebrow. So basically what we're doing now is we're just kind of layering different shadows and shades over the top. And you can put a more dramatic shadow, you can make that highlight look more dramatic if you add a little bit more shading to this eye. I'm just adding more lines kind of coming out from there. And you can really, the nice thing with this, I think of this almost like a watercolor painting, like we're just adding these layers in and bringing some over the top. There's usually some kind of wrinkle in here, but I guess depends on how old that person is. Okay, so now we've kind of gone over it from the front. And I would recommend drawing this from a photograph. This is just from my head. It would look a lot better if it was actually a real person's eye. Now let's draw the eye from the side. So this is the front view, and then this is going to be the side view. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to draw a circle for the eyeball. And I'm gonna try so hard not to hit into the camera with my hat. But I seriously feel like I'm going blind. These lights are so bright. Drawing at night is not the best. So we have our ball, and now we're going to draw almost like the orange slice, the orange peel that's coming. And I would say it's down here. I wouldn't say the eyeball is like completely round. It seems to go at an angle, at least when I look at the eye from the side. That's why I kind of brought it down a little bit lower. Maybe I should make it just a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just so when I draw this you can see the details. Just a little bit better. I'm going to keep the same circle, except I'm just going to draw it bigger, like that. There, that's going to make it a little bit easier, I feel like, for you to see. All right, now we have the side view, and the side view of our eye, it actually does kind of bump out a little bit more. It's not like this complete circle, but it'll work, I think, just how it is. I keep trying to erase with my eraser, and I can't because it doesn't exist. Okay, now the orange peel thing works really well when you're drawing the eye from the side because you need to be able to see that the eyelid actually comes out. Further than the eyeball. And then, so this would be like the eyelid here and here. And then let's go ahead and draw in that front part of the eye, the iris. And it kind of depends on how this person is looking and where they're looking. But we can see the round part of the eye, and it's kind of, the pupil is kind of stretched out from the side. That seems still a little bit big, but that's okay. I'm just gonna make it dark, you can see it. And then the highlight could be anywhere. We can just draw it, whoops. Oh, I was trying so hard. We can just draw it like right up in there. So I've just kind of drawn a little bit of a shape. And let's go ahead and add some shading. Just quickly. And then remember, just like we have like these kind of ledges, we kind of have these ledges here. And maybe we can kind of see them just a little bit. So like the eyelashes kind of come out of that part right there. Okay, now that we've gotten these basic shapes, we kind of need to bring this eyelid all the way back. I need to see like a real face because something looks really weird here, but I'll try to draw a real face after this. We'll see if this actually works. And let's get rid of the ball, just so we know we just use that to learn how to draw the ball that's underneath. And let's go ahead and just add a little bit of shading back here, because remember this is round. Let's put some shading underneath this part as well. I'm just darkening up this corner and redrawing in this line. And this line, since this is a ball, right, it should be kind of getting a little bit bigger as you go up and a little bit smaller as we go down. Now, where are the eyelashes in this case? This almost looks like anyway, it looks like something. Okay, so if you're going to draw eyelashes, they're going to come, this time they actually are kind of coming out from this, but they are going to be going forward. I mean, these are really exaggerated, almost like anime, kind of animation, kind of looking. But the truth is, with eyelashes, I feel like it's usually not like the individual hairs that you can see. Like if there were eyelashes on this eye, which there probably are, it's just like a shape, with some pieces coming out, but it's more just like a dark kind of area, I guess. I don't like those, but that's okay. So the eyelashes would go out in that direction. And you can just kind of thicken them up as they're closer to the eye, if you want to draw eyelashes. That's kind of how I would handle it. I usually handle it more like that. I just do like a darker area, and then you can draw some of them out. Just make sure you're not bringing it out from the eyeball, but on this outer edge of the eyelid. And yeah. So hopefully that was helpful, drawing an eye from the front and from the side. What I would do is grab some pictures, grab a camera, grab your phone, take a picture of your own eye, and draw yourself looking like up, down, to the side. Let's see, do 5 different eyes, and I would draw both of the eyes, if you can. You can just draw one, but I would recommend drawing both. And I would love to see your work on Instagram, hashtag Mr Otter Studio or Mr Otter Art Studio, and good luck with this, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're gonna go over drawing, I think, the nose. Let's do the nose next, and then we'll do the mouth. And have a wonderful day. I just wanna see really quick before I turn this off if I have any people in the Wall Street Journal that are looking sideways. I mean, this eye is sideways. This is more of like a 3/4 view. So we can see this part's a little bit more prominent, but you can see the iris is in the middle. Let's see if I can get it focused. Is in the middle, and you can see it doesn't like come up. You know, it kind of, this eyelid is a little bit heavier and hangs down, but I can't see any from the, you know what, let's actually draw one of these together really quick. Let's draw her eye. Look at that. It's a great eye. Since I still have this out. Just for your practice, I just want to show you how I would handle it. Wish I could make that bigger. Okay, so you just want to start just how we kind of started before. You want to start by drawing the shape of the eye. The middle part. Eyelid. This is a little bit longer than I made it. Highlights there. The shape for the eyebrow. I drew that a little too dark, that's okay. And you're just shading in the iris. So anyway, really quick practice. I just thought that would be fun. It's harder to find eyes looking from the side. 3/4 view is like a pretty popular view to draw. And we can, she's sideways, we can't even see her eye. So anyway, thank you so much for drawing with me. Good luck drawing your eyes. I'd love to see them, and have a wonderful day.